Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Madan Mohan Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha, Jagannatha, Baladeva Jaya Subhadra. Jai Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Haribol, 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 Haribol. Jai Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashtotra Sata Shri Srimati Divine Grace Lavai Charanarvinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashtotra Sata Shri Srimati Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namachar Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जाय। ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जाय। नवद्वीप श्री मायपुर धाम की जाय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जाय। गंगा माँ यमुना माँ की जाय। वृंद देवी तुलसी महारानी की जाय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जाय। श्रील प्रभुपाद ट्रांसजेंडर बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जाय। The most merciful Lordship Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan Sri Sri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sri Sri Gaunithai की जाय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जाय। सामवेद गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय। गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories. All glories. All glories to Sri Guru Gauranga. All glories to Sri Prabhupada की जाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 26, entitled King Punanjana Goes to the Forest to Hunt. Text number 19. Santvayan Slakshnaya Vacha Santvayan Slakshnaya Vacha Hrudayena Viduyata Hrudayena Viduyata Preyasya Sneha Samrambha Preyasya Sneha Samrambha Lingam Atmani Nabhyaga Lingam Atmani Nabhyaga Shantavyan Slakshnaya Vacha Shantavyan Slakshnaya Vacha Hrudayena Viduyata Preyasa Sneha Samrambha Lingam Atmani Nabhyaga Shantavyan Slakshnaya Vacha Hrudayena Viduyata Preyasya Sneha Samrambha Lingam Atmani Nabhyaga. Sanvayan Slakshnaya Vacha Hrudayena Viduyata Preyasya Sneha Samrambha Lingam Atmani Nabhyaga. Anyone else? Shantavyan Slakshnaya Vacha Hrudayena Viduyata Preyasya sneha samrambha lingam atmani nabhyagat. Any Matajis? Shantavyan, pacifying. Slakshnaya, by sweet. Vacha, words. Hrudayena, with a heart. Viduyata, regretting very much. Preyasyaha, of his beloved. Sneha, from affection. Samrambha, of anger. Lingam, symptom. Atmani, in her heart. Na, did not. Abhyagad, arouse. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. The king, who with aggrieved mind began to speak to his wife with very pleasing words, although he was filled with great and tired, although he was filled with regret and tried to pacify her, he could not see any symptom of anger caused by love within the heart of his beloved wife. Please repeat. The king, with aggrieved mind, began to speak to his wife with very pleasing words. Although he was filled with regret and tried to pacify her, he could not see any symptom of anger caused by love within the heart of his beloved wife. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The king very much regretted having left his queen and having gone to the forest to execute sinful activities. When a person regrets his sinful activities, the abandoning of Krishna consciousness and good intelligence, his path of deliverance from the path of material clutches is opened. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Parabhavastavad abhodajato yavan jijnasat atma tattvam. When a person loses his Krishna consciousness and loses interest in self-realization, he must engage in sinful activities. All one's activities in a life devoid of Krishna consciousness simply lead to defeat and misuse of one's life. Naturally, one who comes to Krishna consciousness regrets his previous sinful activities in the human form. Only by this process, can one be delivered from the clutches of nescience or ignorance in materialistic life. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarobhyasya Kripa Sindhubheva Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langaite girim yat kripatamaham mande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. Shri Shri Gaunita, Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan, Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani Ki Jai. So here, Srila Prabhupada, he is giving very beautiful turn to the whole of events in the sense, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is speaking about some important principle. although the background is that King Puranjana went to the forest and he participated in the hunting of so many animals and became very tired, came back to the house, took bath, took dinner, and now he is wanting to have intimate association with his wife. So he was looking for her, but he could not find her. Then he inquired from the women, "Where is my wife?" So then they told him that your wife is in such and such place, abandoning the bed and all the royal ornaments. So now he wants to pacify her. So that is the background. But here Prabhupada is giving uh, an important lesson through these happenings. He is giving us some important lessons. And what are the important lessons? He's saying that the king regretted for having gone to the forest to indulge in sinful activities. So he's comparing that to a jiva leaving Krishna and coming to this material world. Or it is quite possible that many of us must have come to good association, practiced Krishna consciousness for some time, and for some reason, if we leave Krishna consciousness, then a point may hit us when we are in some a deep trouble, or when we again come in contact with some saintly person who arouses feelings in our heart, then we deeply regret for what we have done. Oh, such a wonderful process of Krishna consciousness that I've been gifted with, but simply out of craziness, I've given that process up. Now I've accepted this materialistic life. I'm suffering so much. So this is very important feeling which should come in the heart of a spiritual aspirant. That is what Srila Prabhupada is saying. Uh, he's using that word. When a person regrets his sinful activities, the abandoning of Krishna consciousness and good intelligence, his path of deliverance from the path of material clutches is opened. It's a very important statement. He's, he's caught up by the material clutches, and now he's regretting that why did I get into this situation by leaving good association? Then his path of Krishna consciousness or deliverance from material clutches is opened, Srila Prabhupada is saying. So regret is a very important aspect of Krishna consciousness. In fact, without regret, one cannot advance in Krishna consciousness, or at least one cannot begin Krishna consciousness without regret. Regret is quite different from lamentation, that we must understand. Lamentation is born out of ignorance, regret is born out of knowledge and good association. So we must understand the difference between these two. A lot of people, they lament so much of being involved in miserable activities, sinful activities, but they do not know how to come out of it. They know that it is bad, but they don't know how to come out of these activities. So, in the beginning, they regret, and slowly they lament, and then finally they get into a state of helplessness, and they don't know what to do because they don't have good association. Most of us must have gone through this process of, in the beginning, when we are indulging in sinful activities, we are fearful. But then later on, it becomes a habit. Then it becomes that, it's a normal activity, participating in sinful activities. What can I do? I'm helpless. So I must participate in the sinful activities. So this is a very dangerous state. This is because you don't have a good association or you have not taken good association. So you end up in a helpless state. Otherwise, if we have good association, then these feelings will come. The feeling of regret will come. So, we have examples in the scripture also that people who are very regretful because of good association and they have rectified their consciousness and They have advanced in Krishna consciousness and actually attained the lotus feet of Krishna. For example, when Ajamil, he was doing all kinds of sinful activities and he was almost about to die. Then the Yamadutas came to take him away. Then Vishnu Dutas also came. There was a discussion between Yamadutas and Vishnu Dutas. And he heard the discussion between them. And when the Vishnu Dutas gracefully gave him a second chance, you have done so many sinful activities. In fact, he himself was counting what all sinful activities that he had done. So that is a very good sign that instead of someone else reminding us what all sinful activities we have done, it is better we remember. So he was remembering all the details of the sins that he had done. And then he went to Haridwar and meditated on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And finally he was delivered from this miserable condition. So why did he think? Till that time he was helpless. But when Vishnu Duta's association came, he started feeling regretful. So similarly, it's a very important aspect of Krishna consciousness. Regret is a very important aspect of Krishna consciousness. We seldom regret. You know why we don't regret? Because we have this fear that I may go into lamentation slowly from regret. And I don't want to be a mental fellow. Lamentation means basically he becomes a mental person. So we are fearful of regretting. So that is why regret has to happen in the association of devotees by the scrutiny of a devotee. And that is a proper form of, then it has a proper use. Regret has a proper use in Krishna consciousness. If you see Bhaktivinoda Thakur's songs or other Acharya's songs, you will find there is a form of regret in their songs. That why did I enter into material education? It has become a pointed shaft and it is piercing me. You know, what is this? This is actually a form of regret. So like that, so many songs that you will find in Bhaktivinoda Thakur's writings. So Srila Prabhupada is emphasizing that one should regret having left Krishna in the spiritual world and having come to this material world. One must regret. But that regret doesn't come just like that. It will come only when one comes in contact with a saintly person. So, almost a very next activity, once you start regretting, a little bit of regret comes, let us say. It is said, Prabhupada is quoting this fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam sloka, Parabhavastavad abodhajato yavanna jijñāsata atma tattvam. The defeat in the material activities give rise to a sense of inquisitiveness or inquiry. Inquiry spirit comes. Suppose you are defeated, left and right you are defeated in the material activities, in your pursuits of material accomplishment. Then obviously what happens? Why am I getting defeated again and again? Why am I losing again and again? Well, that kind of inquiry will come. So that inquiry will lead you to good association. Why am I failing? Why am I failing? Then when you come in contact with this kind of a sloka, that parabhavastavad abodhajato yavanna jijñāsata atma tattvam, your material activities are bound to fail. If you give up self-realization and only indulge in material activities, you are bound to fail. You are bound to be defeated. Then immediately one's good intelligence becomes manifest. Srila Prabhupada in his own life, Prabhupada, he was very sincerely, he was carrying out his business duties. He was carrying business. But Nonetheless, what happened? Every time he was failing in his business. He opened many shops in various places. He was traveling from one place to another place. He was checking the stock. All these things he was doing, like any sincere businessman, he was doing. But he was failing. He was losing money everywhere. So he was thinking, why am I losing money? I am doing all the duties of a businessman. Why am I losing money? Then he met one of his god brothers, Sridhar Maharaj. That Sridhar Maharaj showed him one sloka in Bhagavatam. And in that sloka, Krishna says, Tasyaham anugrahami harishye tadhanam shanaihi. That if I have any special compassion for a devotee, then what I will do, I will take away all his material possessions. His dhana I will take away. Slowly I will take away. Then Prabhupada was so happy to read that verse. Then he understood, I am losing to gain something wonderful. That's what he felt. So, so you need good association to actually recognize the covered, the covered fortune. The fortune is coming, but it is covered with a bad cloth. And when you're looking at that, you're not interested. But just pull out that bad cloth, you will find a very beautiful, opportunity there. So in the same way, life gives us many, difficult circumstances. Behind every difficult circumstance, there is an opportunity to surrender to Krishna, opportunity to become Krishna conscious. So there is nothing lamentable, but we have to regret. Nothing lamentable. I hope you understand the difference between lamentation. Lamentation is born out of ignorance. One devotee was speaking to one very exalted sannyasi, and he was telling, Maharaj, I'm very sinful. I don't feel like coming to the temple hall and showing my face to Krishna. Then the Maharaj replied, this is ignorance. He said, this is ignorance. You may feel like that, but still you have no other shelter but Krishna. You have to come to Krishna. My dear Krishna, I'm so shameless. I've been indulging in all kinds of sinful activities, but I have no shelter other than you, my dear Lord. Please give me a glimpse of good association that I can recognize and I can hold on to, and I can become a better devotee. And this is proper form of regret, not showing one's face to Krishna. So if you're regretful, what happens is you will seek good association. If you lament, you will close yourself in a closet. That is the effect of what is lamentation and what is regret. And Srila Prabhupada is very beautifully, he's saying that the path for, the path of getting out of material clutches is opened if you feel regretful. So in fact, every day we can actually look into our own activities of Krishna consciousness and see what all we did not do well and what could be better. How I did not act properly in my day-to-day activities, and make a list of it. And that you can do that on the strength of studying Srila Prabhupada books, or reading from Vaishnava, or hearing from a Vaishnava, or reading from Prabhupada books. On basis of that, your consciousness is open to that regretful aspects of that particular a day or a week or whatever it is. And then there is a possibility to get out of that bad consciousness and make advancement in Krishna consciousness. So it's a very important aspect. Daily sadhana, we can say, is also to regret. If you actually regret, what happens is the next day we can sing Samsara Dava very nicely. How? Because the Samsara Dava prayer itself is born out of regret. Samsara Dava nalalidha loka Tranaya karunya ghana ghanatvam Praptasya kalyana gunanavasya Vande Guru Shri Charanaravindam. In effect, what you're saying is that my heart was burning in material existence and you have showered mercy. And now, because of that, I am pacified. How can we genuinely say this unless we, on a day to day basis, we feel that burning of the heart which is caused because of our materialistic thinking or materialistic indulgence? You cannot possibly offer feelingly or lovingly the prayer to a spiritual master and recognized his mercy, that how because of his mercy my heart is now pacified. Every day we sing, so every day we must experience that. And how can we experience that? Unless we get into our activities of that particular day and see where all mistakes have happened and how, because I am reading from Prabhupada books and hearing from a devotee or helping from getting help from a devotee, which has helped me to recognize this and get out of this. So this is a proper meditation in Krishna consciousness. So that is why this regret is a very important and integral part of our daily sadhana. In fact, those who are not regretting, most likely they are very arrogant. Because there is no man in this world who can afford to say that I have not done any mistakes. Who is there? Every day, in fact, every moment, something or the other, a mistake is happening. Every day. So who can say, who can be overconfident and say that I am very, very wonderful devotee, enthusiastic devotee. There's nothing that can stop me. Uh, I am assured of success in my journey in Krishna consciousness. Nobody can stop me. This indicates arrogance. Even a great acharya like Prabhupada, one day he was coming in front of the deities and then he was very fervently praying to Krishna. And the previous day, Prabhupada said this in a private conversation with his disciples. What is the difference between you and me? And disciples started saying so many things. But in the end, Prabhupada said, I will not fall, you will fall, he said. Prabhupada said that. So it appeared, quite an arrogant statement. Why it is an arrogant statement? It is not arrogant statement, but it appeared like that. So one devotee who was having this kind of a doubt the next day, he saw that Prabhupada was very fervently praying to the deities, and then he dared to go and approach Prabhupada and ask, Prabhupada, what were you praying to the deities? Prabhupada said that I'm praying to the deities to save me from falling down. Prabhupada, when he said that, the devotee, yesterday only you said that you will never fall. That is why I don't fall. That is why I don't fall means every day I pray to Krishna to protect me. That is why I do not fall. So, no one can take it for granted that, I'm doing everything very nicely. Even as great as Rupa Goswami, when he was absorbed in Krishna Leela, in one of the Krishna Leela, uh, uh, there was a amusing thing happening. Then he was absorbed in that Leela and he started laughing. When he started laughing, what happened? There was one Vaishnava who was going at that time. He was a lame Vaishnava. He was limping and going. So the ecstasy that he was absorbed in was disturbed because the Vaishnava was passing by Rupa Goswami. He felt a little bad that somebody is laughing at him. So then immediately when that broke, he started searching, maybe I must have done something wrong. That is why my ecstasy is gone. But he did not know what happened. But he knew the principle. The principle is that maybe unintentionally I must have offended a Vaishnava. But how to find that Vaishnava? No Vaishnava will come and tell, hey, you have offended yesterday. No sincere Vaishnava would tell. Maybe we may say, you have offended me many times. Like that you may say, but no sincere Vaishnava would come and express that. They may feel little bad, but they will not come and say that I am offended by you. So Rupa Goswami had a trick. What was that? That day he invited all the surrounding Vaishnavas for a feast. So except one Vaishnava, everybody came. Then he understood that is the Vaishnava who must have felt bad. So he went to that Vaishnava and begged forgiveness from him. Sir, I do not know what actually happened. I don't know why you didn't come. Maybe I must have done some offense to you. Please forgive me for the offense that I have committed. Uh, and then that Vaishnava slowly said something. What is that? Uh, I don't know what happened, but somehow I felt a little sad that, you were laughing and then I was passing by. So I felt maybe, maybe you're unhappy with me, or maybe you're, I was looking bad or something like that. So then Rupa Goswami explained to him, clarified him what actually happened. Sir, I have nothing to do with what was, happening outside. I was absorbed in the Leela of the Lord, and then, I didn't recognize that you have come, and I'm really sorry like that. So, regretting even for unintentional mistakes, especially when someone took it negatively, is a saintly quality. He could have said that, I don't know what is going on. I was absorbed, you are going, you have imagined yourself. Huh? What is this? Is this a quality of a Vaishnava? Speculating about. Huh? We can give all kinds of explanations, isn't it? Justifications and explanations. Say that I am not at fault. You are at fault. You could have said that. That's not a Vaishnava. Vaishnava always, even though he has not committed any mistake. Take, for example, Amrish Maharaj. Amrish Maharaj did not commit any mistake. But Durvasa Muni, he thought that, Amrish Maharaj, just because on the Dwadasi day he took a drop of water, Durvasa thought that, he has no etiquette of respecting the saintly persons. He has broken the fast without inviting me. And then he cursed him. And he took a hair and then dashed it on the ground and then told the demon to kill Amrish Maharaj. And Amrish Maharaj was unmoved. Then Sudarshan Chakra came and then chased this demon and killed the demon and then chased Durvasa. And Durvasa started wandering all over the place. He went to Brahmaloka, he went to Kailasa, still the Sudarshan Chakra was not leaving him. And he went to Vaikuntha also. Even there, when he fell at the feet of Lord Vishnu, Lord Vishnu said, Sudarshana will not listen to me. Sudarshana will only listen to my devotee. So you go back to Ambarish and ask for forgiveness. Then, when he came back to Ambarish, Ambarish was fasting 1 full year, because this whole process of going all over the place, it took 1 year for Durvasa. And then Ambarish was not eating anything for 1 year. You may wonder, how is he able to maintain? They are great devotees and yogis also, they can maintain. So he was maintaining, he did not even eat anything. So when Durvasa came and fell at the feet of Amrish Maharaj lifted him and embraced him and said, it is not your mistake, sir. It's my mistake which caused all this misunderstanding. This is what Amrish Maharaj said. This is what is a saintly person. He was even regretful for what he did not do. Then what to speak of a person who did something, and if he doesn't regret, what quality that person has? How can he become Krishna conscious? So that is why Srila Prabhupada is suggesting to us, we are committing so many mistakes, left and right, black and blue. So many mistakes. But there is no sense of regret. In fact, we always justify our mistakes. There is a law. If there is justification, there is no purification. Always remember this law. If there is justification, there is no purification. So those who wanted to justify, first of all, don't give others opportunity to find your faults. You take that difficult task of looking into your own self and rectify the faults. Then it is easy, because our false ego is so much. If someone else tries to point out faults, we feel offended. But if we take the divine task of looking into our own selves and find our own faults, then we don't have to give opportunity for others. So in this way, Prabhupada is very beautifully. The next thing that Prabhupada is going to say in the next verse is that uh, this man, he went and touched the feet of his wife. And Prabhupada likened that to be a person once regretful, he must go to a bona fide spiritual master and accept the shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. I was so fascinated by the Krishna consciousness with which Srila Prabhupada is writing these purports, that it was not actually intended like that, but because it is an allegory, Prabhupada is also taking advantage of the allegorical presentation and giving the beautiful process of Krishna consciousness. So uh, it's a very important integral part of our life to be uh, grateful and regretful, both. Every day one must be grateful, and every day also one must be regretful. And gratitude will increase your feeling of shelteredness uh, towards Krishna, and regretfulness will bring out humility in our consciousness. Humility is very important aspect of Krishna consciousness, which is actually born because of this regretful heart. So every day, if you want to exercise humility, every day you must know what mistakes that I have done. Then one will not fly on the sky, but one will be on the ground. Otherwise, everyone, generally some good things are happening in your life, you just fly on the sky thinking that now everything is nice, fine. Not necessary. In this world, not everything is nice. One moment is sufficient to fall down from that so called niceness. So, this is one aspect of Krishna consciousness which we should exercise every day, to become humble and to become dependent, and to become dependent on the mercy of Guru and Krishna. So these are some points. If there are any questions, anybody has or comments. Okay, you have a question.
Thank you, Praji. Praji, you were speaking about regret. So, uh, we experience two types of regret. One is when we do something wrong and then we regret over that. That is one which is understandable. Another type of regret which comes sometimes when we, especially when we are guiding some devotees in Krishna consciousness, we are taking responsibility for them. So now, what feeling comes in the mind is I am responsible for them. So if they commit some mistake, it is my responsibility also. So I need to improve myself like that. On the other side, the mind also says that ultimately they are individuals and they have to decide whatever they want to do in life. So when they commit mistake, so at that time, one side the mind says ultimately they are individuals, they will decide even if they are committing mistake. But then the regret also comes that maybe I am not that pure or I could not guide them properly on the right path. That's why they made the wrong choice. And when we actually see them suffering because of their wrong choices, that makes us feel regretful that I could not serve properly. So, how to understand that we should put the blame on them or we should regret for their wrong decisions also, and and how much to do that? And how
Thank you. A very important aspect of regret you brought. Maybe I was totally focusing on one's own faults, but ultimately it comes to that only. So when we have dependents, and when the dependents make mistakes, uh, even though they make mistakes not because of you, because of their own choices, still having accepted their dependency, we must regret and we should try to rectify the situation as far as possible. Uh, Actually, very exalted devotees do this. It's difficult for ordinary devotees to do this, to take such responsibility. But exalted devotees, uh, to such an extent that, in their presence something happens, bad happens, which they have no control over, or they have no connection with, that something bad happens. Let us say we are having Bhagavatam class, let us say, and one child fell down there and hurt himself. So, for all practical reasons, that has nothing to do with this. But if you are a conscientious Vaishnava, then you will think that maybe something that I have done mistake, because of which the child fell. Why the child has to fall at this time when the Bhagavatam class is going on? Something like that. You understand? But this is a very exalted consciousness. What you are speaking is that people who are under our, shelter, or under our, dependency, definitely we must accept responsibility for them. And if they've done mistakes, uh, then we should owe a portion of it for their mistakes. But now, having said this, we are living in a very difficult world. The difficult world is people come to us not for genuine spiritual inquiry, but people come to us to get a stamp. And you also are in a very fluxy situation where you cannot say no to such people. Because most of the people are like that. If I say no to everyone, there won't be anybody. Sometimes, isn't it? Many times it happens like that. Now, if I'm really, really, very, cutthroat, and I don't want to accept anybody who is not surrendered soul, then you will not have any. You will have zero. You will have zero people. So you have to accept them with some kind of a cheating tendency, and then slowly bring them out of that cheating tendency. And that cheating tendency is this, that they want you, but not your advice. They want your, blessing, but not your advice. Isn't it? All of those who are in this situation, they know it very well. So, what to do? Extracting obedience is a great art. Unless you are obedient, you cannot extract obedience. So, uh, and without extracting obedience, there is no correction. You cannot possibly correct anybody, because it is a willful act. It is not you. You can extract obedience by threat, but that is all momentary. It's not a transforming effect. It is just a very momentary change. So, uh, so one has to question one's own obedience. Am I obedient to my superiors? Am I obedient to my spiritual master? Am I obedient to Krishna's instructions? If I'm not obedient, how can I expect my dependent to be obedient to me? This is what is a thought process of a conscientious devotee. And when you become, a little frustrated, then these thoughts will come. Everybody has to ride their own plane. Krishna Prabhupada said, you know, I have done my part. I have done my part, and now it's up to them. What can I do? This is a sign of signing off. Huh? Irresponsibility, actually. Because you have accepted responsibility means you have to accept responsibility. Accepting followers is non-different from accepting children. You can never say, this child is not mine, it's up to him. Similarly, accepting disciples I'm talking about. So please don't take it too much. Disciple is one thing, accepting someone for guidance for some time is another thing. That is why I make a disclaimer to all those people who come to me. I am a temporary guide. So understand that I am your temporary guide. If they want for guidance, I only say that I am only a temporary guide. Neither I have qualification nor I have authorization to accept your complete dependency. And truly so. Most of us are truly so like that. Because what happens if you overly expect dependency from others without it is being given to you, then you are, in another sense, you are binding them too much and not letting them to go to another person or another place where they can feel that freedom to express, their heart. So, in true sense, none of us are actually in that position of accepting complete dependency. But still, as a conscientious devotee, we should accept our fault of not being able to inspire that devotee for a long time. Uh, so that's what I feel. Instead of just simply brushing it aside by saying that, that fellow, he never listened to me. I gave good advice many times, repeatedly. Still, he didn't listen. What can I do? I can't do anything about it. That's a sense of irresponsibility. You may throw some light on that, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Vedanta. A very beautiful class with very finer points for application you shared with us today. By regretting, uh, you know, we we become uh, more humble, and by being grateful, you know, we always experience the shelter. That is a very nice conclusion you gave. Regarding this point, in the pastime of the four Kumaras coming to the door of Vaikuntha, Lord Vishnu gives very specific points regarding shelter. He says to the Kumaras, my dear Kumaras, these two fellows, Jai Vijay, I have accepted them as my servant and received services from them, and I have shown them affection by giving them instruction from my side. And as far as they are concerned, they have accepted me as their master, and they have faithfully served me all these years. And they also have reposed affection on me and not diverted their attention to anyone else. Therefore, for them, I am whole and soul. And they have received my instructions and lovingly served me by fulfilling those instructions. And because we are bound in this way by a loving relationship, therefore, when they commit a mistake, I am also a part to it. Therefore, I am ready to lop off my arms, like that the Lord told the Kumaras. On the other hand, when Bhaumasara became atrocious and brought the 16,000 princesses and locked them up in the jail, although he had a very good defense mechanism of Mura demon was there and electrification of the boundary and all that, Krishna went in the Garuda and finished him. He didn't protect him or defend him or take responsibility as I am the father of Bhaumasara. He never said that. Rather, he himself finished him like that. So, there are very clear terms and conditions given in scriptures when I can own responsibility for somebody and when I should disown. Prabhupada initiated one fellow. The next day he was seen to be breaking the regulative principles. When disciples went and told Prabhupada, Prabhupada, yesterday he was initiated, today he is doing this. Prabhupada said, he is not my disciple. He said. And they were shocked. But Prabhupada, he says that since you have promised him that you will take him back to Godhead, therefore he is free to do anything he wants. Prabhupada said, no, that's not the agreement. Agreement is I will follow the four regulative principles and chant 16 rounds. If he agreed to that commitment and terms and conditions, then he is my disciple. Otherwise, not, he said. So, in this way, the Shastras, leave this matter in no unclear terms. They are very, very clear about it, that what is considered as a responsible leadership, or offering shelter to anybody like that. So, in our training programs, when people come to us, initially we don't know each other. So subordinate can see the superior. Superior can see the subordinate, say for 3 months or 6 months. And they may like our vision that we are providing for their spiritual life. And then having experienced that joy and that shelter, then they may commit to that shelter and put faith in us and that we will take them higher and higher in spiritual life. And then we also provide them. But over the years, when a very strong, loving bond is formed between the superior and subordinate, then they are like our own children. Because like I am sending somebody to some place, and when they commit mistake, I will chastise them, but I will also defend them. Uh, so I will chastise them personally one on one, But when I'm dealing with the other people, I will also defend them and I'll say that, you know, this terms and conditions are not clear, therefore they committed the mistake. Either I may say. So Lord Vishnu defended the Jaya Vijay by telling that although you fellows want to send them to material world, after their 3 lifespans, please send them back to me. I want them. And that's what surprised Kumaras. You say that you agree that they committed mistake. Why do you want them back? Because the Lord said, they are after all mine only. He said.
Very beautiful. Thank you. It's actually, that absolute responsibility of a jiva is dependent on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord cannot disown anyone. If he disowns, then there is no existence to that particular soul. But as Radhesham Prabhu said, when Prabhupada said somebody is not breaking regulative, is breaking regulative principle, Prabhupada said he is not my disciple. Prabhupada could say that because it's always a contract. Although Prabhupada must have externally said that, but Prabhupada must have felt, sympathy for the devotee, because that is the nature of a Vaishnava. Compassion is a humility and compassion. These are the two beautiful decorations of a Vaishnava. So even though somebody may not be in that kind of terms and conditions, but if they are suffering, if they have spent some time under our shelter, and if they are going, disarrayed or something like that, still you will pray for that particular devotee. And that is the nature of a Vaishnava. But as Prabhu said that, it is not contract. You cannot be blamed for that. That, somebody is gone wrong, and because you cared for him for some time, so you cannot be blamed for that. So that's a very beautiful conclusion.
For example, if a woman becomes unchaste, for example, like there are 2 ways she can become unchaste. One is she has been cheated by some man, and seduced or something like that. On the other hand, a woman voluntarily has left her master and gone to another man. So sometimes it is seen in this world that a disciple, voluntarily breaks the regulative principles, putting the whole sinful reactions on the master and wanting to enjoy life. So then that attitude itself is condemnable.
Right.
On the other hand, a disciple somehow or other was slapped by Maya and fell down and is crying and coming to the master for protection. Master will never reject.
Absolutely.
Because that devotee has the right attitude.
Like Lord Chaitanya, he actually caught Kala Krishna Das from the Bhattaris, even though he left. But that is Lord Chaitanya. Again, there is a difference between the Lord's actions and any other jiva's actions, because the absolute contract is between the Lord and the devotee and the jiva, because all the jivas belong to the Lord. So these are many such, if we really look into Bhagavatam or Chaitanya Charitamrita, we'll find many, many such instances where we find answers, where we should draw a line. Otherwise, we become over anxious about a particular devotee and lose our own Krishna consciousness. It is like, somebody is drowning in the swamp and you gave a hand. So, whether you pull him or being pulled by him, it's a very, very mysterious thing. It is paralysis by analysis. I don't know. Anyway, it's nice discussion. Thank you all very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.